Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. We have some breaking news out of CNN. Ukraine agrees to proposal for ceasefire with Russia as U.S. restores aid and intel sharing. So this is just breaking. As of this recording now, it is 4:14 p.m. Eastern Time. And this report was refreshed 5 minutes ago, although it says 3:33 p.m. here, Eastern Daylight Time. So about an hour, less than an hour ago. So Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Tuesday that Ukraine has accepted a 30-day ceasefire proposal by the United States following critical peace talks between U.S. and Ukrainian officials in Saudi Arabia. The ceasefire proposal accepted by Ukraine covers the entire front line of the fighting with Russia, not just the air and sea, Zelensky said after the more than 8-hour-long meeting. Ukraine accepts this proposal. We consider it positive. We are ready to take such a step, and the United States of America must convince Russia to do so, Zelensky said, adding that the ceasefire would start the moment Moscow agrees to it. The United States said in a joint statement with Ukraine following the meeting in Jeddah that it would immediately lift the pause of intelligence sharing and resume security assistance to Ukraine. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that the onus is now on Russia to take steps to end the war. We hope that they'll say yes to peace. The ball is now in their court, he said, of the Russians. So it is interesting to see that we've made this incredible shift from the debacle that happened in the Oval Office to this point as of just within the last 45 minutes or so. So let's take a listen here from MAGA Voice, and this was also CNN.
Which is to enter into a ceasefire and into immediate negotiations to end this conflict in a way that's enduring and sustainable and accounts for their interests, their security, their ability to prosper as a nation. I want to personally we both want to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Majesty, for hosting us, for making this possible. They've been instrumental in this process, and we're very grateful to them for hosting us here today. And hopefully we'll take this offer now to the Russians. And we hope that they'll say yes to peace. The ball is now in their court. And but again, the president's objective here is, number one, above everything else, he wants the war to end. And I think today Ukraine has taken a concrete step in that regard. We hope the Russians will reciprocate. Today we made an offer.
All right, so that's outstanding. So now I'm very curious to see how those who have covered the war since the beginning, these individuals, I have been following these individuals since the beginning, Arthur. And the thing that they all each have in common is they're not big fans of Donald Trump. Because the idea here is, now Arthur is in Estonia, and he's a former military, I think he's former military there in Estonia. And, of course, their attitude and disposition, of course, is much like mine, too. I want Ukraine to be restored fully, right? I want them to get their country back. I want them to get back Crimea and all the areas that have been taken over by Russia. I certainly want that. But, of course, we need to address the issue of the loss of life, and the continuation of this fighting is not looking very good for either side, really, and especially not as good for Ukraine. So I'm curious about Jake Bro. He's a fellow American, former Air Force veteran who served as a nuclear and missile operator. I like all these guys. They're all likable individuals. I think that they mean well. Their intentions are good. They certainly support Ukraine 100%. They are not very big supporters of Donald Trump, though, and that's why I think it's very curious to see the shift in their language and in their attitude. Now, Ryan McBeth he doesn't really go into the war that often. He kind of covers a little bit of everything when it comes to military strategy and stuff. He's an author. He's quite an interesting character, to say the least. But, yeah, I'm going to be watching out for these guys. Now, we have Speak the Truth. This is Rob and Matt, who have been covering the war as well, although they're both, I know Matt is, Robert is a former sniper with the U.S. Army. He's retired. And Matt, I think, was I don't know whether he's still within the U.S. military or not. He is a military member as well and was in Ukraine, and had been talking about some things that he was able to talk about. And then, of course, from the very, very, very beginning, Operator Starsky, who is with the Ukrainian National Guard. He is a soldier in the Army or in their military, and does journalism for them. So he used to follow me on Twitter. And he has now left for Blue Sky, which a lot of people have done. And he, too, is not the biggest fan of Donald Trump because, of course, I can totally understand their position, okay? I want everyone to know that I understand their situation. I understand their position. It is not too dissimilar to the Prime Minister of Denmark and suggesting that a peace would just be, or a ceasefire and so forth would just be, or as she says here, peace in Ukraine is more dangerous than the ongoing war. Well, retrospectively, she's correct because the idea, at least that she's saying, from her sense of me saying she's correct, is that Russia will just take this moment to pause and rearm and reassess and these sorts of things. So, in a way, just on a side note, I think that a lot of the problems that Russia experienced in this and why they weren't as successful, and I'm not cheering on any of this for Russia, is that they had so much corruption within their military and within their government that they didn't have a lot of the resources and military equipment and things that they would have needed had they have done it correctly, like they had been perhaps when they were once the Soviet Union. But so very interesting turn of events. And this is something that I've been watching since pretty much day one of the war and even before. And something that I share occasionally here on the channel. But I did want to cover this right now because this is a very vital and significant change in that conflict that's going on over there. And I think a ceasefire would be great. I think maybe at first it'll irritate and annoy some people. Maybe even Denmark and other nations will still be concerned that maybe Russia will take this opportunity to rearm, reassess, rebuild, and maybe try this again. But the killing needed to stop. Donald Trump said he wanted to end the war. He wanted to stop the war. His cause was noble. I don't know how many people subscribe to it, but nonetheless, in my own personal opinion, it really appeared that many of these countries and even the United States or the Democrats were drip-feeding Ukraine because they have a big irritation. I was going to say something entirely different, as you might imagine, towards Russia and Putin. I have no particular... I don't like Russia. I mean, as far as what they have done, I don't like what Putin has done. The Russian people, obviously they're, this may not necessarily be something they agree with either. I am simply suggesting that I am not siding with Russia, but I did want to see the end of this. And I am equally as disappointed as they are that this territory that Russia has taken may not be regained in this particular ceasefire or peace agreement or whatever they arrive at. And it's really unfortunate. I totally understand and I empathize with them all. However, I'm grateful to see the end of this. I'm grateful to see the end of the bloodshed. I'm grateful to see the end of this conflict because it's been awful. It's been terrible. War is absolutely terrible. And but I understand where all these guys are coming from. And but I am going to be very interested in seeing what these guys have to say and what you guys have to say down in the comments section. Has this been something you guys have been following? Have you been keeping up to date with this as well? So let me know down in the comments. That's all of you guys, of course, on BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey, and those even on TikTok. Yes, I had to challenge a video, the one we did on Elon Musk and the continuing attacks against him and Tesla. I contested that on TikTok, and it looks like the video was restored. Now, we'll see how that ends up being. But nonetheless, I do appreciate everybody, including everyone here on YouTube, where things are going really strangely on YouTube. So your likes, your shares, and your comments all help out the channel. And, of course, below this video, you can find the various social media links that I belong to include X right up here. That's right. As well as TikTok and Instagram and other areas, obviously. And then, of course, my affiliate marketing, that would be with Amazon. My landing page link is right there. So if you order frequently from Amazon or a Prime member, simply using that link helps out the channel. Your privacy is protected. It's and it helps out the channel. And, of course, speaking of your privacy, if you're interested in that online, VPN, Trust Zone is my favorite virtual private network. And it's been great for me. And all these things help out the channel. But more importantly, your guys' likes, shares, and comments are the main thing that helps out the channel. So I appreciate it all. And yeah, so that's what I had to bring to you guys. This ceasefire is very, very important. And yeah, let me know down in the comments what you think about it. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.